My name is Samantha. It's been 4 years since I graduated from vet school, and now I'm a 28-year-old working at a dog specialist clinic. Currently, I live alone near the clinic to manage the night shift, but my 6-year older brother and my 2-year younger brother visit me on their way to and from work and on holidays bringing me home-cooked meals from our mother. Considering I'm not too skilled in the kitchen, I'm truly grateful. The other day, my brother Mark swung by after work.
"Hey, you about to finish your shift? I have something to discuss, so how about grabbing dinner together?" he said.
"Sounds good, but I'm beat from being on my feet all day. How about we get takeout and eat at my place?" I replied.
"Fair enough. Then lend me your keys. I'll pick up something from the food court at the mall nearby," he said.
"Okay, and sorry if it's a bit messy in there. Haha." It was odd for Mark to have something to discuss with me. Unlike my younger brother, who comes to me for advice on everything from love stories to money troubles, Mark isn't usually the one initiating serious conversations. And he's not the type to complain about his job either, so I was a bit on edge, as I headed home wondering what it could be about.
"Listen, I understand you're busy with work, but you need to clean up a bit more regularly. You can't even invite a boyfriend over with the place looking like this, haha." Mark chuckled.
"Hey, mind your own business. I've been working a lot of night shifts recently. By the time I get home and wake up, it's nearly evening. Between catching up on household chores and going back to work, it becomes too late to start vacuuming. If it comes down to cleaning or doing laundry, laundry wins," I retorted.
"Well, at least take out the trash more often, haha," he replied.
All right. So, was your big talk just to lecture me on my lifestyle?" I asked.
"No, actually. There's a potential marriage proposal on the table," he said.
"What? Marriage? Who's getting married?" I exclaimed.
"You don't think I'd be talking about a marriage proposal for you, do you?" He smirked.
"Wait, you mean you're getting married? Are you kidding me?" I asked in shock.
Whoa, are you calling me a liar? That's rude, haha.
He laughed it off. "This is my brother Mark. Athletic and outgoing at first glance, he might seem like the picture-perfect professional. But the truth is, he went to an all-boys school through middle school and high school, studied a science major in college, and was always involved in athletic clubs. As a result, he spent most of his student life surrounded by men and struggles with the subtleties of understanding others' feelings, let alone dealing with women. Hearing the word marriage coming from such a brother was quite a surprise for me."
"Well, to be honest, I still have some doubts," he admitted.
"So, who's the one marrying you? Someone I know?" I asked.
"Well, you might know her or might not," he mused.
"Seriously, who is it?" I inquired.
"It's Professor Smith's daughter, the professor who supervised you. Her name is Sarah. I think you both graduated from the same university, but you might not be familiar with her since you were in different departments," he revealed.
"What? No way!" I let out a shrill scream that seemed to come from the top of my head, and for good reason. If my memory serves me correctly, my brother's bride-to-be is a woman who could be described as my nemesis. The university I graduated from is a massive private university with numerous departments and a large number of students. My department, veterinary medicine, was located far from the main campus, so most students graduate with little interaction with students from other departments. However, I joined a board game club that I had loved since I was a child. As a result, I was blessed with friends and seniors from various departments. But the one who threatened the joy out of our harmonious club activities was none other than Sarah, a member of the club next door to ours. Sarah, the daughter of a professor at our university, was a standout beauty even among the in-house students. She was the kind of female student who was always surrounded by admirers in event-based clubs. But when her club was suspended due to activities against the university's regulations, Sarah, with too much time on her hands, temporarily joined our club. Initially, we were perplexed, but we accepted her, hoping to introduce her to the charm of board games. But Sarah's objective was not board games, of course. She was there to stir up the club, quite literally. One couple that fell victim to her was my best friend Linda and Jack. Linda and Jack were an official couple since high school and enrolled in the same architecture department. They had a dream of owning an architecture firm together in the future. However, Jack fell easily before Sarah's tricks. On our way back from a trip with other female friends, when Linda and I stopped by Jack's apartment to deliver souvenirs, we ran into Sarah wearing his shirt from inside his room. "What is this? Why is Sarah here?"
Well, this is..."
"Don't dodge my question, answer me. And Sarah, you answer too. Why are you doing this?" "Hey, don't make a scene. You're being a nuisance to the neighbors, you know." "Haha. Besides, I had no idea he had a girlfriend. Ha. So you're saying you were behind Linda and the others breaking up, weren't you?"
Is that true? Does that mean you've done this with Bob and Mark too?
Cause trouble? That's a mean way to put it, ha ha ha. I just thought that he wouldn't break up with his girlfriend over a meal or two. If he likes me that much, well, I can't help it, can I? Ha ha ha.
As an excuse, it's a pretty terrible one. Jack, what about this woman do you like so much that you betrayed Linda? Wait, Sarah, you're joking, right? You're serious about me, not like with Bob and Mark, right? Tell me that's right.
What? Serious? Me with you? That's obviously impossible. Ha ha ha.
No way.
Just think about it. Do you really think a man like you, out of nowhere, could be a match for me? You touched a star for a moment, so you should cherish that as a lifetime memory. Oh, but maybe you used up your lifetime's luck. Ha ha ha.
As Jack crumbled, Sarah quickly changed her clothes and came over to where Linda and I were standing with grim faces at the entrance. Then, pushing crying Jack towards us, she said,
This is just too much trouble. Here, take him back, will ya? Ha ha. Besides, I don't remember making him mine. Ha ha ha.
Stunned by her words, we watched as she added,
I'd be bothered if he kept acting like a boyfriend, so it might be better if you just take him back. You two should get back together. Recycle? Reuse? Whatever you want, haha,
before she walked away toward the main street. After that, I dragged Linda to our apartment and we took turns staying over until her emotions settled. In the end, Linda and Jack broke up and Jack dropped out of university. In the end, the group was filled with people who had been messed with by Sarah and became ex-couples with a similar history, leading to an awkward atmosphere and members quitting one after another, causing the club to collapse. Frankly, I have nothing but memories of the latter half of my fun college days being ruined by Sarah. It was quite a shock when the topic of marriage between Sarah and my brother came up. When I asked, "How on earth did you two meet?" my brother said, "Well, it's not so much that we met, but the vice president of a client company I'm working with said, I have a niece who hasn't gotten married yet. Would you like to meet her? And since I didn't have a reason to refuse and I wasn't dating anyone, I agreed to meet her. For some reason, she liked me, and things just went really fast from there." But are you okay with that, bro? I think marriage is a pretty big decision. Honestly, I don't really care either way, haha, he said rather casually. Actually, my brother Mark has a somewhat careless, hands-off attitude when it comes to important decisions, even though he doesn't appear to take them seriously. And when he realizes the consequences of his decisions aren't good for him, he has no problem cutting his losses and moving on without any shame. He hardly ever considers how much trouble he causes to those around him. It's really unbearable for those who get caught up in his mess. But if you think about it, as long as there's no malice involved, it's only slightly better than Sarah, who is just as irresponsible in her own way. At this point, it might be wise to leave them alone unless the sparks fall on us. Huh? Did you say something? Nope, it's nothing. After that, the marriage talks between Mark and Sarah were officially confirmed, and the two families proceeded with formalities like meeting each other and exchanging gifts. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I had a hard time taking weekends off, so I was unable to attend any of those events, and the day of Mark's wedding came. On that auspicious day blessed with clear weather, I had finally managed to take a day off to attend Mark's wedding. First, there was a pre-wedding photo shoot at the chapel in the hotel, and since the photographer allowed the family members to take pictures with their cameras and smartphones, the photo shoot started with both families watching. Sarah and Mark, dressed in a tailcoat and wedding dress, made quite the picturesque couple. I was busy taking photos myself when, several times, my eyes met Sarah's through the camera lens. After the photo shoot went smoothly, we had a quick rehearsal for the ceremony, and then it was time for family introductions. The groom's side introduction started with my father, and when it was my turn, Sarah's expression changed for a moment. The bride's side introduction went smoothly as well, and during the break before the ceremony, I was talking with other family members in the waiting room when a staff member brought a note from Sarah calling for me. When I went to the bride's waiting room, she said, "No way, seriously? I can't believe it, haha." "What's so unbelievable?" "Oh, that we're going to be sister-in-laws? It's quite a coincidence, isn't it? I can't believe it either."
Ugh, I knew he had a sister, but I thought there was no way it would be you with the same name. Talk about being caught off guard, haha.
"So, you wrote on the note that you had something to say." Then, seemingly irked, Sarah smacked the table with a bang. However, I no longer had any need to care about Sarah.
I don't want to see your smug face throughout this whole wedding ceremony and reception. You finally become a vet, right? You've always excused yourself from participating in events because of work, so why don't you just go make up some excuse about being called in urgently and go home right now? You look better in your grubby white coat than in a dress you're not used to wearing after all. I was momentarily taken aback, but on reflection, there was indeed no need for me to grace the event with my presence. So, with a broad smile like a waiter at some bar, I gladly left the bride's waiting room saying, "Sure thing, with pleasure." At the cloakroom, I collected my coat and promptly set off home. However, the next day, Sarah, who was supposed to be going on her honeymoon, showed up at the animal hospital where I work, all alone, and began to scream at me. "Hey, what's the deal? Why are you acquainted with my uncles? What's the fuss about so early in the morning? You're scaring the dogs we have here for care." "I don't care about the dogs. I have bigger problems." As Sarah continued to raise her voice, I decided to get permission from the hospital director to take her to the double-doored operation room to have a talk. "So, what do you want to talk about? Is it okay for you to be here? I heard you were going on your honeymoon this afternoon." "There's no honeymoon. The wedding itself is likely to be canceled." "Oh, why's that? I thought my brother would be thrilled to be marrying such a sought-after woman." "That's what I thought too, but after the reception yesterday, he was talking for a long time with my aunt and uncle, and then he suddenly said, 'I'm calling off this wedding.'" "Oh, really? My brother has quite a bold move, doesn't he?" "It's not funny, and my aunt and uncle, instead of reprimanding him, they started saying things to me like, 'We won't consider you our niece anymore, you ungrateful, shameless girl. We don't know a daughter like you. You must have done something, confess.'" At that point, I explained that I had not done anything on my end, just that I happened to know Sarah's aunt and uncle. After the family introductions, I had a conversation with them saying, "What a coincidence," and was then told by Sarah to go home, so I just went home. But then I got a message from Sarah's aunt and uncle, who found it strange that I didn't attend the wedding or reception, and I just answered honestly to their questions. "Honestly, what did you tell them?" Well, first I said that I went home because you told me I was annoying. Then they asked, why would Sarah say such a thing to the bride's sister? And I suggested, maybe it's due to some grudges from our student days. "What? What were you thinking? Of course they would ask more questions." So I honestly recounted our past as accurately as I could remember it. "But that should only anger your brother. Why would my aunt and uncle be furious?" That's when I explained the reason why Sarah's aunt and uncle might have been furious. In fact, Sarah's aunt and uncle do not have any children, and they are crazy about their pet Shih Tzu. When they were walking their Shih Tzu, they had a horrible collision with a sports bike that suddenly rushed out of a crossroad. The dog was seriously injured and rushed to this vet clinic. An emergency surgery was necessary, but the dog had lost a lot of blood, and it seemed like the blood available from the clinic's own donation dogs would not be sufficient in time. That's when the clinic got in touch with volunteer dog owners who had registered to donate blood in emergency situations. The one who came running was Linda and her beloved pet. Linda is an architect designer working for a major company after her graduation. She adopted a puppy born at the home of a client she had become friendly with and kept it as a pet. Thanks to Linda's dog, the Shih Tzu surgery was a success. As a token of their deep gratitude, the couple requested Linda's company to renovate their vacation house. They got even closer to Linda and were enraged when they heard her complain while she was tipsy about a shameless woman who ruined her relationship with her college boyfriend. However, they hadn't asked Linda for the name of the woman, considering it inappropriate. When they heard my story, they realized that the shameless woman was their own niece, Sarah. Then they confessed everything to my parents, my brother, and Sarah's parents, while also declaring their disownment of Sarah. My brother, for whom Sarah was a precious niece of a major client, no longer saw any point in marrying her, as her value as a sales point vanished. However, I didn't understand why Sarah's parents were also furious and kicked their daughter out. After all, Sarah's father, Professor Smith, was also my teacher back in college, was known for his deep love for his daughter, and had always been the one to clean up her messes. My father is also close to retirement. He was planning to open a vet clinic. Really? The professor? But setting up a clinic, securing parking space and all, the costs are tremendous. There's no way he could cover all that with just his retirement money. He was planning to ask his brother for a loan. But now, after all this, they are saying this is all because you failed to raise your daughter properly, and it looks like they won't lend him any money. That's why they are all cutting ties with me. It seems like it's too late for them to realize their mistake though, ha. Stop joking around and help me out. I don't think I can do anything about this. Please, I'll do anything. I'll even kneel down. I don't know how much your kneeling is worth, but I really don't need that, huh? Even after that, she kept begging me tearfully, but in the end, the clinic's director had to call the cops to stop her from causing a disturbance. Reluctantly, she left. When Sarah realized she couldn't persuade me, she ran to my brother, Mark, and to her aunt and uncle, begging them while crying. But they didn't listen to her. Moreover, Sarah's bad reputation spread from her aunt and uncle to her relatives and from the relatives to the other people she knew, until nobody paid any attention to her anymore. She quit her job and started living in an old apartment managed by a distant relative that her image-conscious parents rented for her. As for me, I'm busy every day with my job as a vet, which I believe is my true calling. On the other hand, my unrepentant brother Mark seems quite pleased, saying, "Now that I've become a man who can no longer dream of marriage, people might sympathize with me, but at least I won't have to deal with any unnecessary meddling." Our parents seem to have a headache with their children, including my younger brother, who don't seem to have any prospects for romantic relationships, but they believe that everything happens for a reason. So, they decide to take it easy and not